Hello, welcome to the channel. In today's video, this is a mechanic's car. And what this is a BMW F20 LCI.
1999 black BMW 735.
BMW F20 LCI with the B47 2-liter diesel engine. BMW states that these engines only require service every 30,000 kilometers or 2 years. Now that's just overly excessive. So this car has been serviced every 15,000 kilometers. The cabin filter has been replaced at every single service. Now the car has 60,000 kilometers. So for its fourth service, we're going to have a little project and check how many consecutive oil changes it takes to be left with nothing but clean oil in the sun. So we're going to change the oil 3 times. Each time we will change the oil filter as well, take a sample and go for a drive with the car about 5 kilometers to cycle the oil and heat it up. The oil temperature is constantly monitored using Carly, and no, I am not sponsored by them. At the end of the 3rd cycle we will go for a drive again, heat up the oil and take another sample. By then we will have 4 samples and we will compare them at the end of the video and see what we are left with. Okay, the engine is nice and hot. So now we start by opening the filler cap and placing it on the hood latch. So we never close the hood without filling the engine with oil. Then we open the oil filter housing so the oil in the filter housing can drain down back to the sump. Remove the oil filter completely, because otherwise this piece here will prevent the oil from draining back to the sump. Okay, now to drain the oil. Instead of using any sort of tool to rotate this piece here, I always just bend it out of the way and then use a locking grip on this side. Don't over tighten it, just a little bit so it stays open, and always on the left side, because on the right side you have the positive terminal on the starter engine and you are very likely to touch that and therefore cause electrical connection between the positive terminal and the negative terminal. The drain plug is always a size 17 with BMW. I will catch some of the oil because this is our first drain, so we can compare this one to all the upcoming oil drains. Now, every BMW oil filter, whether it's original like we're using now or aftermarket, has a new drain bolt washer with it, so always change it over. The oil has stopped running, it's dripping now, so we're going to mount the drain bolt again. Clean it up a little. Do not over tighten this. It really doesn't have to be very tight. Now remove this, close this back up, and there you have it, our first oil drain. Now we're going to install our new filter. I'm just going to clean this out real quick with some brake cleaner. Okay. I already changed the ring, so now we're going to insert the oil filter like that, and then install this one on top. Just push it like so. This is a size 27. So now we're going to fill the engine with oil. For our purposes, we don't have to fill it with a complete 5 liters. So it's a little bit more than 4, just to drain it out again. And there you have it, the first complete oil change in this project. I don't have to check the oil level because I know it's a little more than 4.5. Now we're going to start the car and check what the oil temperature is. Okay, it keeps saying 73, but I don't really buy it, so I'm going to go for a drive. It just dropped to 72. I'm going to go for a drive and make sure the oil temperature is back heated up to above 60, preferably in the 70s, and then we're going to change the oil again. So see you in a minute. And we are back. Here's an interesting fact. I ran the car for 5 kilometers. The oil temperature is already back up to 74. It never went below 66 degrees Celsius, which tells me there was still a lot of heat in the engine, but maybe it means that there was a lot of hot oil left in the engine. And I guess we're going to find out when we drain it for the second time. Always put the oil filler cap on the hood latch, so you cannot close it without having filled the oil. Now, size 27 for the oil filter itself. It's a little fiddly to get in there, so I always use a 3/8 inch wrench with a size 27 socket of a 1/2 inch with this adapter in between. It works great. Remove the oil filter cap. Okay. This time the filter came with it, so easier for me. Now let's put the car up on the lift and drain the oil for the second time. Okay, so there's no need for a tool to rotate this. You can just bend this backwards and use a vice grip on the left side, so you don't touch the positive terminal on the starter engine. Size 17, always with BMW. Now an BMW oil filter. there will be a new drain bolt washer, whether it's original or aftermarket. Now this oil is already very black. We're going to catch some of it. Mark this with 2. It really surprises me how black the oil is. It was just changed over, so it was very diluted and there must have been a lot left in the engine. Okay, this is what it looks like. The new sump washer. And here's the oil ring for the oil filter top housing. The oil filter itself is also very black, which is, you know, expected since the oil is running through it. Let's clean this out. Remove the O-ring. Okay, I would say that's enough for our purpose. So I'm just gonna close it up. Clean it a little. Use my size 17, not too hard. Remove this. And so the oil has been drained for the second time. Okay, now let's fit the oil filter. Now. And we're going to fill for the second time 4.5 liters of oil instead of the usual 5 liters. But first, oil filling cap. And there you have it, our second sequential oil change on this BMW. So now let's go drive, heat the oil up and drain it once more. Okay, the car has been sitting for 2 hours, but I did go on a test drive to heat up the oil. It's now back up to 72 degrees Celsius. So we're going to start with the third oil service. Okay, so with the socket 27, always completely remove the oil filter. It's nice and hot in here, so the oil is definitely warm. Always completely remove the oil filter, so the remaining oil.
I already know.
Always place the oil filler cap on top of the hood latch.
Shut up!
So here's a top tip. You can use
Enough from the...
Okay, this is looking a little bit better already. It's still colored. We'll be taking a sample soon with our 3 sample container. Hey, did you guys know that with every BMW oil filter...
Shut the fuck up!
Okay, so it's time for our third and final oil filter install. I have been using an original BMW filter the first time, but since they are produced by Mahle, I'm using the original Mahle filters as well, but they're exactly the same. Last filter installed. Push. Okay, so that one is installed for the next 15,000 kilometers. Let's fill the oil. Okay, our third service is complete, so now we're going for another drive to heat cycle the oil, get it up to temperature, and then take another sample and hope that the oil will be clean in the sump. Okay, after 5 kilometers of driving, the oil is back up to around 80 degrees Celsius. Let's lift the car up, take another sample and see how we've done. Okay, the moment of truth. We have the cup 4. Hey, did you guys know that? Just kidding. All right. Moment of truth. This is very hot. So let's find out. Okay, this is just, besides very hot, really disappointing. Really disappointing. Okay, so the results are in. There's no going back. Let's review them. So from 1 all the way to 4, that's just as black as it can be every single time. This is really disappointing. I was hoping to have an engine with completely clear new oil. Obviously that's not the case. There has been 15 liters of high quality oil cycled through the car, and still this one is still hot, but I'm really disappointed. I can only imagine what this could do to your engine if you stick to the 30,000 kilometers service intervals that BMW prescribes. This test makes me think twice about the 15,000 kilometer intervals. Maybe I'm going to service it every 10,000 or so. So thinking about it afterwards, I suppose there must be a whole lot of oil, dirty oil, left in the entire engine every time we heat cycled the car, so that the dirty oil from around the turbo and everywhere it can be stuck would come with it, but to no avail. I'm going to top up the car, but I'm really disappointed. This was not what I expected. So there you have it, 3 oil changes, 4 samples compared side by side. Were the results as you expected? Please comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe or share this video. And for those of you who are wondering what a cabin filter looks like after 15,000 kilometers, we're going to compare them side by side as a little bit of a bonus feature. You know what? After 15,000 kilometers, new versus old, I find you can see that it is already quite dirty. So, thanks for watching.